we're back. Huh?
You get to do it first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No.
Control.
It's not even my birthday or anything.
It's hard for me.
Welcome
Yep.
to another edition of Check-In. I am Sara Lesky. He's Jamie Thomas. We are getting you set for game 63 of the regular season for the Winnipeg Jets as they continue on their trip out east. Tonight is the first game on back-to-back nights. They are in Philadelphia.
We'll play the New Jersey Devils tomorrow, and it's the last game before the NHL trade deadline.
Ooh.
Some moves have been made, some questionable ones.
Not by the Jets.
No.
No.
Are we allowed to say that as team employees to question other teams' moves? Are we allowed to do that?
Well, we're just not. There's some that have raised eyebrows.
Okay. Not by us.
Looking for clarification.
Yeah. The Nashville with Pittsburgh trade is kind of odd.
For it is with Luke Shen going to Pittsburgh, but we'll see. There's undoubtedly going to be lots to talk about, whether it be today or of course tomorrow as well, with the trade deadline happening at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. You know that your TVs are going to be flooded with content with TSN, with Sportsnet, all having their trade deadline shows. Very excited for today's show, as we get you set for it. We have been trying to have him on the show, for a while now.
There's been a lot of requests sent out.
For it.
A lot.
But very excited. Paul Biz is going to join us today, which is going to be great as we get you set for this game. We'll talk to him about the trade deadline. We know how busy he is. So we're not sure exactly what city he is in as he moves between TNT, Spit and Chicklets. We've seen him on the Amazon shows.
Yeah.
We've seen him all over the place. Sportsnet.
Yeah, he'll be on Sportsnet's coverage tomorrow. I wonder how early he's got to get up for that one. I'm curious.
Looking forward to all of it. But let's get going. He will join us in about 10 minutes. But let's get going, setting up this game here tonight against Philadelphia. The Jets winless now in their last 3 games. So
hey, Contra, watch it from geometry class. I hope that's in university. Can you watch?
You're not supposed to be on your phone if you're not in. I'm hoping it's university as well.
I hear all kinds of stories about the phones and classes from my kids nowadays.
That's right.
Yeah.
What have you thought about the Jets recently? Obviously, they started off this road trip with the loss against the Islanders.
Yeah, I mean, so you again, the goal scoring issues kind of kicked in a little bit, tiny bit, or remain with the team for a bit. But they scored 2 goals in the power play, had plenty of chances to tie it with the Islanders. For whatever reason, they can't seem to win there, wherever the Islanders are situated, whether it's in Brooklyn or Elmont, New York, or wherever, Long Island, wherever the Islanders are playing, the Jets just can't seem to find success there. But I think there's a lot of positive things. And Scott O'Neill said after the game that he likes the effort. There wasn't a whole lot to be upset about, which is what you want to hear. And this is what happens in a long NHL season. You're not going to win all the time. And I haven't minded the way they played the last 2 games, and particularly against Philadelphia and certainly against the Islanders. The Nashville game was the second game of back-to-back again, but still had a chance to win that one as well. So it's just can't find the back of the net right now, and that will certainly change as the highest scoring team. Even Washington's having a hard time scoring goals right now. Yeah,
you look at it, only 4 goals scored over these last 3 games, and I was going through the game notes today, and that's the fewest goals scored in a 3-game stretch for the team this entire season.
Yeah.
So you know that this is something that isn't going to last, but certainly it's something that they're having to contend with right now.
Yeah, and so we were all talking about the power play for a long stretch there, and then it looked fantastic. So against a very good defensive Islander team, a great goaltender, Ilya Sorokin, some nice puck movement by them. They stayed in the game because of the power play. So just little things. You're trying to find all 3 aspects. You gave up a power play goal, so you're just trying to get your 5-on-5 play, which has been outstanding through the whole time. But the lack of goals cannot last forever with a team this talented.
No, absolutely not. So of course they played the Flyers last weekend on Saturday night here at Canada Life Center. It was a 2-1 shootout loss. Connor Hellebuck was in net for that game. He will not be tonight. The Jets deciding to go with Eric Comrie for this first game, which we have seen this season. We have seen him play the first game before in back-to-back scenarios, but this is what your projected lines are for this evening. If you take a look, David Gustafsson back into the middle in the lineup. It was announced today that Rasmus Kapari is in concussion protocol. And then on the blue line, people will be very happy to see that Dylan Sandberg, as expected, has rejoined the team. He was away for the team for the last game because of family reasons, but has rejoined them. and will be in the lineup in his usual spot on the left side beside Neil Pionk.
And be a big part of the Jets' power or penalty kill here tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers kind of working their way through, like many teams we've discussed ad nauseum, about trying to figure out where they're going to go in the Eastern Conference playoff situation. That's what we're looking at here. And that's why, as we talked with Kevin Shoveldayoff the other day, how it's been challenging to work their way through this, because so many teams still have a chance to make the postseason and are trying to decide if they're buyers or sellers.
Absolutely. You look just even in the West, and the East obviously is a complicated matter as well. But when you look at the Western Conference right now, the wild card positions, Colorado is currently sitting in the first wild card spot, but they're only 2 points back of Minnesota, who's third in the division. But you've got Calgary then in that second wild card spot with 67 points. Vancouver, 67 points. St. Louis has come on. All of a sudden, we thought St. Louis was definitely going to be a seller. They've got 66. So there is a lot to play for and a lot of debate, I'm sure, happening with a lot of management, ownership groups, scouts going on as to how they're going to approach the rest of this, not only this season, but obviously the next 24 hours.
Yeah, I think, we've kind of heard a mixed bag of reviews of what this deadline is going to look like. And we are hoping there's some action. There's something to talk about tomorrow, not necessarily from a Jets perspective, but for all our friends that work at the big networks. You hope for them that something's going to happen. But I go back to the Luke Shen trade. Like, it's still wild to me that he's a Penguin. Maybe the Penguins are going to deal him. I heard Frank Saravalli talking about this today on his show on Daily Faceoff. Possibility maybe he send him to St. Louis to reunite the Shen brothers. So maybe there's a bigger deal at play here. I don't know. And then Mikko Rantanen has now gone on the top of everybody's trade boards because he's let the Hurricanes know that he's not interested at this moment to sign an extension.
Right.
So that makes it, I can understand where Carolina is sitting right now is like, okay, we send out all this stuff for Mikko Rantanen and he's not committing long-term here. So is it better for us to move him on and get some of those things back? I don't know. There's, what? I would love to be a fly on the wall in many rooms right now as you listen to the process and the debates that are going on. Again, not only within your hockey operations group, but also undoubtedly with ownership, because you have to think that ownership is also leading the charge in a number of scenarios across this league. When you look at the Jets, they have had a lot of success in the first game. We see people in the chat. It's great to see so many of you in there and so many regulars as well. Hello to all of you. We're seeing a bunch of in Chevy we trust. I got a good feeling about tonight. Well, the first game of back-to-backs have been very successful for the Jets so far, 5-0-1 this season. The second game, not so much, but that's to be understandable. Often they have had some very tough travel schedules. With this scenario right now, they're actually going to bus from Philadelphia to New Jersey because of how close the two cities are. So a different scenario, something that obviously you can do in the East, you can't do in the West. No. Yeah, if you are an older player, I imagine the East has more draw to it because of the lack of travel you have to do.
It's
the fact that you can be back in your bed at night of a game, if you're playing, say, in Philadelphia or New Jersey or whatever, you can just drive on a bus everywhere. So that part is kind of enticing for lots of older players and anyone who plays on the East. But at the same time, easy travel for the Jets should make them fresh for tomorrow for the games against the Devils. But they should focus, and I'm sure they are, on the Flyers. And one thing I like about when the Jets play Philadelphia, the way that they play, I'm talking about the Flyers, they block shots. They're heavy. It's a very playoff style type play that they have. So it gives you a good idea how the Jets can fight through that, what they're going to see. But the way Winnipeg is defending, that makes them a very good playoff team down the road. But we're still a ways away from that. But we are not a ways away from our guest. Does he look at him? Look at him.
All right. Should we bring him on?
Yeah. He looks busy, but not busy.
Hey!
Hello.
What's up, gang? How you doing?
Oh, Bissonnette. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Are you kidding? Thanks so much for doing this, Biscuit. We want to know, what city are you in right now?
Where are you?
This could be where in the world. It's Carmen San Diego. I don't know if you watched that when you were growing up.
I did.
Yeah.
Early days. I was in Atlanta this morning, but I just got to Toronto. I'm doing the trade deadline tomorrow with Sportsnet, so I'm fired up for that. And Should be interesting to see what teams are doing. A lot of teams are still in the mix, so could be a lot of stalemate going on and not a lot of moving around.
Well, okay, so what has you excited most about trade deadline tomorrow? What do you got your eyes on?
I'm hoping Toronto combats what Tampa and Florida did and makes a big move, obviously. But the problem is like the names that keep popping up, like I mean, Braden Shen, like St. Louis is right in the mix, right? So I don't know if that's going to be their guy. People have been sprinkling around Rottman. That would be obviously a huge, huge pickup. Don't know how they would make the money work on that. They'd probably have to get rid of a roster player, but yeah, that would just mean that Toronto's top six is, especially winger wise, would be unbelievable. If you had Marner, Rottenen, Nylander, and Nyes, that would just be absolutely lethal in the top six. So things should get interesting here. Hopefully, they're able to do something at least.
When you get to the studios at Sportsnet, are you allowed to start stirring up the Sidney Crosby rumor mill again? Is that a part of the deal?
I think I've beaten that one to a pulp. So I actually asked Elliot about it last night on TNT one final time, and I think we're gonna put it through. He gave me the infamous Dumb and Dumber line, 1 in a million. So we'll see. I feel like Dubas is trolling with the pickup of Luke Shen and saying that they're keeping him. Like it's just like bizarro land action what's going on, but who knows?
Does that trade even make sense to you?
I think it does in a sense of they could probably think they could get something like a second rounder for Luke Shen. I feel like Luke Shen's the type of guy, if you're on a Stanley Cup team, he would be probably your number 6 defenseman. Maybe even in some cases you're 6 to 7, like in and out of the lineup, depending on who you're playing. And that the centerman, is it Novak?
Yeah.
Is that I feel like maybe he's got a little bit of upside and maybe he likes him. And I like Bunting though. I'm surprised they got rid of Bunting. Like he's a fruit disturber, so to speak, and he gets to the blue paint and could be a good like third line player on a team that's looking to make a run. So I guess I was a little surprised by that one. So let's see what Dubas is cooking up.
Biz, we obviously know that you are a very well-known Leafs fan. You're an Ontario boy. When you look at your Spit and Chicklets podcast, Ryan Whitney always goes for the Oilers. Do you think that there's a possibility that when you look at Western Conference teams, can we get you on board a Jets bandwagon this season?
I'm more of a believer in the Jets this year than I was last year. And also I kind of just allude to the Tampa team that lost to Columbus in the first round where, they've kind of been through it. I feel like they've looked themselves in the mirror. And I just can't imagine that Hellebuck's not like I can't imagine he's going to perform the same. I would imagine that we see the regular season Hellebuck. And I really believe in your guys' bottom 6. You got the best third line in the league. And I would say that the only thing that you guys would need to do here at the deadline is maybe add like a middle pair defenseman. Like I would say that would make me entrust in you guys a little bit more. So definitely a believer in the Jets this year. But once again, that top spot in the West is going to matter so much because that like everything else is just a gauntlet. Like if you're it might be Dallas, Colorado first round. That's brutal.
Isn't that unreal?
And then even if you're Edmonton right now and you're struggling a little bit, like LA plays hard. They're not a pushover team, right? And obviously they're struggling right now to find scoring. They're going to need a little bit more from their wingers. So I would imagine that they try to do something. I mean, Rottenen's been rumored to be potentially going there as well if they can't reach a deal in Carolina. So just the good thing about our league right now, guys, is just the parity. And it's unreal where we're at. Where if you make playoffs, it's chipping a chair, and it's really good to see. And probably that's the advantage it has on any other major sports right now.
Listen, when you go from playing in the NHL to becoming part of the media, you have kind of a step up in the interview process. You understand what needs to be asked, how it can be asked. So with that in mind, you've done a wonderful job of that during your time in the media. Who is your favorite player to interview? I feel like I know the answer to this question, but who is your favorite guy to put the headset on and chat with on TNT?
Oh, if we're doing the TNT broadcast, I mean,
Yeah.
Marchand's an electric factory. I mean, he's so good on his feet, and obviously we've gone back and forth a few times, so he's always good. Um, Middleton from Minnesota is awesome.
Mhm.
Who else are some good guys there? I thought you were going to ask me about Spit and Chicklets. It's a little different when you're interviewing guys on Chicklets because some guys just
We'll throw that in as well. And yeah, let's go with that too. So you get different situations and different ways you can ask questions. Certainly on Spit and Chicklets, you have more freedom. So,
Just a touch.
Yeah.
A little more freedom.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, who would be the best in that department?
I would say someone that we haven't gotten on that I would like to interview is Brett Hall because I feel like
Oh.
he lets it fly and he's got a lot of good stories.
Yeah.
People that we've had on, we had Tim Stapleton who was incredible.
Oh,
he was
legend.
Former
yeah,
Jet. Yeah.
yes, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right,
Yeah.
yeah. And he just like he kind of brought the whole Russian stories to the pod. You know, he kind of he opened up that safe. So.
I'm not going to lie, out of all the interviews that I have listened to that you guys have done, and there have been so many entertaining ones, because those might be my favorite. The number of times that I have listened to the Tim Stapleton interviews, just because my sides hurt from laughing so hard as he describes those scenarios.
Oh, and he's such a good storyteller too, like the
Yeah.
way he lets it fly. Like I'll never forget the first time we had him on. We were in a hotel room in Chicago, and I was keeled over laughing. I didn't like I never really hung out with him and spent time with him, so I'd never heard his delivery, and he was like a comedian on there. So the list goes on and on and on,
Mhm.
but mostly it's the guys that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And the fact that they don't really they don't have like a job in jeopardy or you know they're not playing anymore where if they say the wrong thing that all of a sudden you know they're getting canceled, they're on waivers. But Terry Ryan's always solid. He's a
Okay.
good he's a good Canadian now on the show Shoresy as 10 Hitchcock. We don't need to go into details on that, but definitely not 10 inches. But anyway, yeah, no, it's been great, man. Like just transitioning out of playing and getting to have a purpose and being able to do this as a living has been awesome, and I'm very grateful for it, and definitely grateful that I started Twitter during my playing days.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna let you go. Appreciate your time, but I gotta ask just before we leave, how great was it to stick it to Whitney after Canada beat the United States?
Oh
at
man,
Nations?
we
Like,
needed
I
that.
love Wit, but man, I couldn't take it anymore as a Canadian. I couldn't.
Oh, I love Wit too. He I mean, talking about storytellers and his
Yes.
delivery as well. I crack up every time he opens his mouth. But yeah, shoving it up those guys' hoop was awesome. It was a much needed morale boost in Canada to say the least, right? And it's good to have bragging rights in the hockey department, among other things.
Absolutely. You know what, Biz, we appreciate the time. We know how busy you are. We know you have an early morning start tomorrow as well. It'll be a very long day at Sportsnet. Same with the friends over at TSN and so on and so forth. But we appreciate so much that you got off the plane just a short while ago and you made the time for us. Really appreciate it, man.
No problem, and good luck to your Jets. I know that you guys are especially in that town, hopefully poised for a big run, and I hope that you guys live up to the expectation of what we've seen in the regular season so far. So, what's the main drag again? Portage on Main.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll see you here in May.
Let's hope you guys.
We got to get you here. Get the whole TNT crew.
We got the Stanley Cup Finals this year, so you never know.
Okay,
just saying.
June is even better. Appreciate that.
All right. Love it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks so much, Biz. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Paul Bissonnette.
A great storyteller.
Unreal.
Yes.
Oh, too bad, Matt. Didn't get a chance to ask that question. Who called the Jets frauds on Spit and Chicklets? Or which player was it? Wasn't anybody on the staff, Spit and Chicklets. It was an unnamed source.
Morad.
Yeah.
It's always entertaining
to
listen to him. He's done a great job of transitioning from playing, and obviously, I mean, he was in and out of the lineup and up and down between the AHL and NHL throughout his career. But then was one of the first players that, as he mentioned, took advantage of social media, got onto Twitter, showed his personality, and we're seeing more and more players do that now. So it's great to see. And he's been so busy as he makes his rounds and has become one of the most prominent faces in the NHL.
He's right. Like if they ever get Brett Hall on the podcast, I'm sure there's yards of stories.
And how great would it be to see TNT here, the panel?
Yeah.
You've got, it's such a talented group that they have there. There's so much fun. I think TNT always with their panels, whether it be NBA, NHL, you see so much personality from them. It would be so great to be able to see them set up either over at Hargrave Street Market or leading the charge at Portage and Main.
And certainly the right guy to wake everybody up early at Sportsnet, because that is an early wake-up call for everybody to start a trade deadline. And he's right about a whole bunch of pieces, like wherever Rantanen goes.
All right.
It's if he does go, but that's going to be a primary focus for a lot of teams.
Absolutely. Going into this game again tonight, you look at it, the Jets and Flyers. It's always tough when you're going at this point in time, when you're going through the Eastern Conference teams that you don't see as often, although we have seen the Flyers twice now in under a week. But different styles of game as well. And you look for it'll be interesting to see some of the intensity that's going on in this game. It'll be interesting to see if everybody is out for warm-up. I think around this time of year, I know from all of our years of covering trade deadlines for various networks that you are always keeping a very close eye on morning skates to see who's out there. Are there conversations that are happening? Do you see a general manager come over onto the bench? Do we see coaches and players talking? And then obviously for warm up as well, because we haven't seen many players held out yet.
Yeah, for trade reasons.
But with 9 games on the schedule tonight, including Boston, Carolina, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, there's some names in Philadelphia that have been on the trade, including Scott Lawton,
Rasmus Ristolainen.
Yes, to see whether or not they are in the lineup this evening or out there for warm-up.
I remember you texted me a couple times during the Islander game. Brock Nelson was in on a couple of goals, and you're like,
and he is a name that has been associated. If you listen to various insiders across the league that have been associated as the perfect person and type of player that would be of interest to the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, and he's that second center spot that a lot of people have been tying the Winnipeg Jets to. I do appreciate Biz talking about bottom half of the defense. An extra a depth defenseman as well has been the conversation for Winnipeg. Lots of questions to be asked, and we should also let you guys know tomorrow we're coming on at 2:30.
Yeah, so
at 12:30.
Right. So as many of you know that it's usually 12:30 that we come on, 12:30 Central, but because that is in the middle of trade deadline and
we forgive you that you wouldn't come to us while the stuff, although you would. We believe you would.
Jamie's a much more forgiving person than I am.
Yeah.
It's part of.
We'd be looking to see if Matt or Rich Curl are in the chat room. He'd be like, they're watching trade deadline.
Exactly.
You're off the Christmas card list.
So what we decided though is that we'd come on at 2:30 Central. Why? Because the deadline is at 2 Central. Although trades can still trickle in. Then maybe there'll be more stuff for us to be able to talk about. We'll get some reaction from New Jersey. Paul Edmonds is going to join us. Ken Weeb from the Free Press is there as well, hoping that he's going to be able to hop on. And so we could talk about what the Jets have done. Also, there isn't going to be a morning skater availability tomorrow with it being back-to-back games. So we figured that the later start would be better. And hopefully we can still see so many of you in the chat and we can discuss what has been going on, or what went on, not only with the Jets, but across the league.
Yeah, and it's going to be busy tomorrow. I don't care what anybody says. They're trying to downplay it. A lot of insiders saying it could be a quiet one. I don't think that's going to happen at all. So there's enough people in the mix to want to win a Stanley Cup championship. Clearly, what the Tampa Bay Lightning did yesterday says that they're all in, as they always are. They do not have a first-round pick for the next 3 NHL drafts. So Julian Brisebois makes sure that those first-round picks are always in play to make sure he gets the players in to make sure they're competitive in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Absolutely. You look at the Jets and what the standings are right now and the importance of, we heard Biz talk about how important it is to finish first in the West, given the gauntlet that exists. And that's something this is a Jets team that, although there is no panic over the fact that they're winless in 3, and we've talked about how there are many elements of their game that the team is still happy with. They just haven't been able to score. They haven't been able to get the wins. That's going to happen. But you do look, Dallas now 6 points behind, and you do want to make sure they've been rolling lately. And And so you want to make sure that you do finish on top of the West. You want to face that second wildcard team because it's certainly that second and third spot in the Central Division is not going to be an easy series in any capacity.
We'll just ask Winnipeg last year having home ice against Colorado too. So that 2-3 matchup in the Central is not a fun place to be at all.
Absolutely. Take a look at the special teams. Just quickly going into this game here tonight. Since January 1st, I always said it many times. I always like looking at a smaller sample size than what you look at the season numbers to see where they're trending. The Jets right now 16th since January 1st, 16th on the road in the power play versus penalty kill. That for Philadelphia, that is currently 4th on home ice. So certainly we saw the power play able to connect. They produced the 2 goals in the game against the Islanders. What will we see from them here tonight?
Yeah, and going back to what I was talking about before Biz came on, was just about you like to see the Jets match up against a team like Philadelphia because that's the style of play they're going to be seeing a lot of in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Not that you have to be worried about Winnipeg, I think, because of lessons learned from a year ago. But if you battle hard against a team like Philadelphia, it gets you set up for what's coming in April, certainly coming up down the road, and whether or not they have new faces or not in the lineup.
Hi, John, and everyone is coming in from Edmonton. So great to see so many of you in the chat and from coming from all over, watching from all over. We know that Jets fans are across the board. We certainly see it always in the stands across the other 31 arenas as well. I mentioned that there is no Rasmus Kupari. He is in concussion protocol. David Gustafsson draws back into the center role on the 4th line. And we heard from them, or the media in Philadelphia right now, had the opportunity to talk to Scott O'Neill and David Gustafsson just a short while ago.
Yeah, we'll put him on the protocol for now. 7 days or so, wait it out and see how he goes. He's on the bike today, so he's feeling a lot better, but obviously got to go through that.
Yeah, and then David obviously got a long run of games. What are you looking for him as he goes back?
Yeah, he certainly helped us, when he came in and was real consistent and played a role for us. He gives me another left face-off guy, and also can use him on the PK. But that line, if they can give us energy and give us minutes, those are big.
I feel like this is the position I'm best at, so it's kind of going back to neutrals. I mean, it's I would say the mindset shift doesn't change that much, but as I said, it's where I'm most comfortable at.
It probably really helps. I mean, you guys, whether it's been a combination of yourself, Kupari, Morgan Barron, Alex Iafallo, the 4 of you have kind of worked together for a significant chunk of this season. So, I mean, what expectations do you have for your line going into a game against the Flyers tonight?
Well, I mean, we know what we're best at. We know what we're good at doing, and it's played a lot of games now, so we know where we have each other, and we need a bounce back game here after these 3 last games.
Gustafsson centering Alex Iafallo and Morgan Barron and replacing Rasmus Kupari, who's out for at least a week because he's in concussion protocol. So great opportunity for David Gustafsson, who was one of those situations where it was nothing to do with how he played. It was just someone had to come out when Morgan Barron returned to the lineup. So he's done a great job with the continuation of all the opportunities that he got and looking to build on that tonight in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and the Jets looking to break their streak. They have not had success when playing in Philadelphia in recent years. So looking to change that here this evening. They've been held to 1 goal or less in 4 straight games versus Philadelphia. So you push that aside and go, look, we're going to break out. Let this be the game here tonight. Yeah,
and I was called one game with Paul and CJOB when they beat the Flyers in Philly. It was 3-2 back in the goaltender. No Czech goaltender 2 years ago. Trying to remember his name. David Riddick was the goaltender that night.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You have, I don't know if all of you, just quickly as we wrap up.
Useless information?
Well, I wasn't going to go useless. It's very beneficial for your line of work.
Yes.
Mine would be useless.
Situation.
If I could talk to you about pop culture from, say, the 80s and 90s, don't know why I could remember. Could I remember the goaltender from their game in Columbus 3 seasons ago? No, I could not. See?
Yeah.
It's not useless.
Thank you.
Useful.
Thank you for making me feel useful on the show. So I appreciate it. Yes.
Great to see so many of you. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We saw a number of people chime in that they are watching from Erie, Pennsylvania. Stacy, we got Ethan and East Kootenay. Real Kyle Connor watching from Saskatchewan. a number of you. It's great to see so many of you, and I hope that you will join us the rest of the way, not just tomorrow, but for the rest of the regular season. And then you and I are going to be doing this all throughout the playoffs as well, which we hope go very deep into the spring all the way. And we will see a number of the national media, including Biz, coming this way in June.
When it's real nice out, and it's beautiful out right now. Big game here tonight. Last time the Jets will be playing a game for the trade deadline. They'll play New Jersey tomorrow. A reminder, will be on at 2:30 Central Time.
Yes.
A half hour after the NHL trade deadline goes. Lots of stuff trickling in. We'll have a reaction for Paul Edmonds and possibly Ken Wiebe as well. And then our thoughts. That's what everybody wants to know. So Jets taking
Jamie has many thoughts.
I have a lot of thoughts
about many things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So if you hear a lot of them tomorrow, that'll be your gauge as to whether or not it was a really busy trade deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something has to happen. And it will.
You know, a lot will.
Yeah.
You know, a lot will. Enjoy it. Don't go to make sure that you watch the game tonight. Any updates that are happening, any trades, anything like that, undoubtedly they will have on the broadcast. Thank you so much, everybody. As always, for checking in. We will see you tomorrow, 2:30 Central.